DramaCityProductions.com.
You are plugged in for the Podcast Wrestling Society, where you can get dynamic weekly pro wrestling and MMA-related content. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at PODWRES Society so that you can stay in the know.
Faith is the place, and the sky's the limit.
And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Now, your host, he is the
One and only
Troy Adams. This podcast is dedicated to the memory of wrestling legend King Kong Bundy, born November 7th, 1957, died March 4th, 2019. Rest in peace, King Kong Bundy.
Here comes the Axe, and here comes the Smasher. We're the Podcast Wrestling Society, talking disasters. I am your loving leader, benevolent host, Midwest Monster, and Pain and Destruction are my middle names. Troy Adams. And joining me here today, while my last name may be Adams, he is the crush to my Smash. He is Greg. What up, Greg?
Ah!
The hell was that?
That was a noise Smash used to make.
Oh, good lord. You need to come up with better comebacks for my intros, man.
Well, yeah, I had a
Don't
good
let me
Repo
down.
Man one, but that wouldn't go through.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, one thing that wasn't repossessed was WrestleMania X. That was that was bought and paid for and pretty damn good, I'd say. I don't know. I had to keep coming up with something for Repo Man, I guess. That was bad. Either way.
I will call it even.
Yeah, man. WrestleMania 5 last week. That was something.
Yeah, sure.
That was, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't...
I'm sure it wasn't good.
Yeah, the show itself was what it was. There was some historic stuff on it, I'll say that, but all in all, as a major show, I just thought it was... bleh. Whatever. But, yeah, man, lots to talk about this week. We're getting into the big anniversary show of WrestleMania X. It's the first one without the Hulkster on it, brother.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even realize
Especially
that
with,
until, like, after watching it again.
yeah, it's like number 10. They're back in MSG. Hulk Hogan's not there. It's just a weird feeling.
And neither is The Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker's not there. Hogan's not there. And the man who walks out on top of the whole night is like the complete opposite of Bret Hart, or the complete opposite of Hulk Hogan. It's a guy who's smaller and Canadian. Very proud to be Canadian, by the way. Whereas Hogan is very large and very American.
A real American.
Hell yeah. He boosted that song from the USA Express, man.
True story.
Now in the archives, go back, listen to WrestleMania 1. We talk about it a little bit. Oh, but lots to dive into here today, man. We might as well start shilling our stuff right out the gate here like we do every single week, and then we'll touch on a little bit of news before we get into the actual podcast at hand. First of all, I want to tell you to go to DramaCityProductions.com. It's a brand new website that has been made. Yeah, it was down for a little while, but now it is up and revamped and brand new. It looks fantastic. And if you go to DramaCityProductions.com, you can see all of the podcasts on Drama City Productions besides us. But if you go to DramaCityProductions.com/PWS, that is our page. And there are not only every podcast listed there that you can just click play and boom, there you are. But there is also 2 buttons there. One says merch, one says more merch. There you can see our Redbubble and Spreadshirt stores. They have a bunch of great merchandise there that you can choose from. It's a lot of great artwork, some funny stuff, some logos, some dedication slash homage logos that you might recognize if you check them out. And you can get all of that at Spreadshirt or on Redbubble. It's all reasonably priced, and I implore you to go check that out. Again, that's DramaCityProductions.com/PWS. Click on merch and more merch. Also, go to WrestlingWithWrestling.com. They are a great resource if you want wrestling news, wrestling videos. You want to keep up with like the rundowns of shows that maybe you can't see, or you haven't had time for, something that is on TV, something that's not on TV, whatever. They've got it all. Almost any promotion you could possibly think of, whether big time or independent, across the world, not just here in the U.S., but across the world, they probably got you covered. They've also got a lot of great podcasts, match clips, interviews, and so much more there on WrestlingWithWrestling.com, covering all four corners of the ring. And last but not least, definitely go check out patreon.com/PodRest Society. There we've got a bunch of great resources there for you to be a paying member of the society. For only $1 a month, you can hear our reviews and previews. They are no longer going up for free on YouTube. Sorry. They will be up here on Patreon. Also, for $1.50, you can pick your review. You can vote on what we talk about on Patreon and on the free podcast. But you have to vote on Patreon for $1.50 a month. That's not much at all. And then for $2, you get deep dives and personal profiles. Greg and I have been wanting to do that for a while, where we give you a deep dive into either an event or a person, a character, a personal issue, something going on. We will give you a deep dive. We will go on rants and whatnot. We'll do some research. It's going to be some good stuff, some stuff you can't hear anywhere else. $2 a month, man. For all of this, it's only $4.50 a month. Less than $5. You mean to tell me you can't afford that? For 1 month, less than $5 for all this great content. Or if you just want 1 or 2, that's perfectly fine. But go to patreon.com/PodRest Society. There's going to be a lot of great content on there, like stuff from our hashtag Quest for Cleveland. It's going to be this weekend. We're going to be in Cleveland. We're going to the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. We're going to do a bunch of other cool stuff throughout the weekend. And, of course, we're going to WWE Fastlane this weekend on Sunday night. You can hear firsthand perspective. We're going to put all of that up on Patreon. You're going to love it. Patreon.com/PodRest Society. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's get right into the news, and then we'll take our first break and come back with all things WrestleMania 10. Well, you want to start with the highlights here from WWE?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one thing to talk about, in my opinion.
Well, there's a couple things that popped up, actually. The first, let's get to the big stuff first. First off, Bruce Pritchard's role with WWE, and in the pecking order, has been a bit overstated. At first, it was said, oh, he's joining the creative team and he's going to have a huge role in it. Not quite. He is a consultant and not on the writing team. Pritchard and Conrad Thompson.
For the moment.
Well, Pritchard and Conrad Thompson will continue their Something to Wrestle podcast, which made me breathe a sigh of relief because I love that thing.
I'm going to tell everyone TJ was having an aneurysm over it. I'm not lying.
Dude, I was happy mad. I was like happy that he was there, because I do think he has something to offer. Mad because I love that freaking podcast. Like, I look forward to it when I go to work the overnights on Friday. So I turn that on and listen to it. And it just much like I look forward to when our podcast drops on Wednesdays. I listen to it throughout the day. So anyway, that is that. He's like I said, he's not actually on the writing team. He said he had to work the their contracts around so that he's able to do all this. He's continuing on with the stuff he's doing now. Also, you hear the other big thing about the writing team, Greg?
Yeah.
Dana Warrior, wife of the late Ultimate Warrior, joined the WWE writing team to offer more of a female perspective. Because
That's the one big news I was talking about, by the way.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Pritchard.
No, I was.
Okay, well, for all, because the first thing that popped in my head was like, well, we need a female perspective. Who do we get? Someone with zero experience in the wrestling business, pal. And zero writing experience, too, on top of that. Like, what the hell? To further on with that, though, I guess Uncle Dave reports, and
Yes!
you can take that to the bank.
Sorry.
You peed next to him.
God, why do you have to mention that all the time?
It's going to be a T-shirt, I'm telling you. For all of you,
something I'm proud of.
For all of you, DramaCityProductions.com/PodRest Society, right up at the top of our page is the links to both of our merchandise stores, Redbubble and Spreadshirt. We will have an I peed next to Uncle Dave T-shirt. It's coming. Giggity.
Oh, goody.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
wear it, too.
You will. You should wear it to a Sharks game in hopes that he's there. And then you could be like, hey, Dave! And then you just like point at your shirt, and he's like, I remember you.
You know what? Go to hell.
You called me a mark. And
Bro.
oh, man. But anyway, Uncle Dave reports that her role is that of a consultant and not a member of the writing team, although that may change in the future. She was at WWE TV last week and is scheduled for this week. Why?
Why not?
Of all the people, all of them. Like, first, she's married to, and, I get it. He was a big draw back in the day, whatever. But, like, it's pretty unanimous he was not a good wrestler. And he wasn't, like, in love with the business and all that. So you get that guy's wife, who, on top of all that stuff about him, she has zero experience in the wrestling business other than handing out an award once a year. Sure. Whatever.
Well, that just writes itself.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about all that. It just blows my mind. Well, you want some Fastlane news, Greg, as we continue on with our quest for Cleveland?
I don't really care about that show.
Yeah, that's why you're flying out to Cleveland on that weekend. Just for kicks and gigs. The featured Raw match for Fastlane is being advertised by the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland as Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley in a 2-on-3 handicap match.
I will freaking take it.
Hell yeah. It is also being said, and obviously this is being recorded before Raw, so it could have already happened. They're saying Dean Ambrose.
No, don't tell them that we record early.
I think they already know. It's
well, now they do, you idiot.
It's abundantly clear. I think we've given that trade secret away many times.
It's still Wednesday to me, damn it.
It's still real to me, damn it. Anyway, but yeah, so this may have already happened, or maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know, but supposedly they're going to throw Dean Ambrose in there, and it's going to be the Shield back together again.
All right, cool. I got to dust off all my Shield gear.
Oh, yeah. I got to... Well, now, damn it, I got to pack my Shield dog tags that you bought me. So, hooray. I don't have a Shield t-shirt, although that may be the one thing other than when we went to SummerSlam, I've always made a rule. Well, I guess I did buy some gear at WrestleMania too, just not a shirt. But I will probably buy that new Roman shirt while we're there.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting that too.
Kyle may also buy that one. It's a pretty damn cool shirt on top of everything, so there's that. All right, outside of WWE, opening night of the New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Climax, giggity, will air live on Access TV. Access TV announced that it will broadcast the first night of the tournament live. It's pretty cool. If any of you care, there you go. I will be watching it usually that brings some good matches. The G1 is always a pretty good watch. Here we go, Greg. You ready for some Impact news?
Oh God, yes. Oh, freaking course.
It ranks with you just slightly below HC Dub, but it's right there. Rosemary signed a 2-year deal with them, so she'll be sticking around. Goody.
Wow, why are people this dumb?
Obviously they see something that we're not seeing. I don't know. Also, Madison Rayne has parted ways with Ring of Honor, and she is also returning to Impact Wrestling. So yay.
Trying to hold my excitement here.
Dude, I have literally, other than her looks, I have literally never given a crap about Madison Rayne. Ever. She's not a very good wrestler. She's not terrible, but it's nothing that makes me like, oh man, I got to see more of her in the ring.
Oh, I want to see more. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to fight the greatest announcer of all time for that, Greg.
Well, what does Michael Cole have to do with anything?
Whoa. He's number 2 behind Josh Matthews, okay? Clearly.
My mistake.
Exactly. You better watch it. Hell. All right, finish out here with some UFC news. This is actually, good stuff. Well, sort of. Dana White told ESPN that Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the interim lightweight title will be the main event of UFC 236.
Yeah, because we haven't had enough interim champions.
Yeah, let's just keep feeding them. I know. It's everybody. It's become a joke now. Everybody makes fun of them now for it. It's like, how many freaking interim titles can you have?
I think I saw a number. It's like between 2000 and 2005, they had one. And between 2008 and now, they've had 13.
Gosh, only 13? I thought there was more. That's pathetic.
More than 13 would be overkill. Come on.
Oh yeah. This one is kind of sad news. I don't know. I don't think he's done anything in a long time. Mirko Krokop announced his retirement due to injury.
Did you hear the injury, though?
No, I did not.
Apparently it was a stroke.
Damn.
Yeah, so I hope this retirement sticks, because this is his 4th retirement.
Yeah, right. Get better, Krokop. Good Lord. Speaking of that, did you hear, I forgot to mention this, Howard Finkel, I guess, suffered a stroke, a pretty bad one, and he's not doing well health-wise. So,
yeah.
Get well, Fink.
More about that.
Yeah. Get well, Fink. That sucks. Speaking of sucking, let's finish this up here. Jon Jones's pre-UFC 235 tests still show trace amounts of Turnbull. But no, he's clean. It doesn't take that long to flush it out your system. I'm sticking to that. You can't tell me otherwise.
Jose Canseco said.
Yeah, that's freaking BS. Where's 235 taking place?
I would imagine Vegas.
Oh,
wait, that's tomorrow night. Yeah. That was this past Saturday.
Well, it might not be taking place.
That out. Don't keep that in.
It might not take place in Vegas now. If
well, they have no choice because everything's there.
Yeah.
They have 2 title fights though, so they'll be fine.
That's pathetic. I don't even know what to say about it at this point. It's a freaking joke. But people will still defend that a-hole, so whatever. Anything else I missed? News-wise?
Yeah. Vitor Belfort went to One Fighting or FC. One FC.
Oh, yeah.
So One FC is becoming the joke that picks up all the old guys. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be fun.
So,
and Chael Sonnen versus Lyoto Machida has been booked.
Oh,
so that's
yay.
going to be fun to watch, too.
Good Lord. Well, that about wraps it up for the news. So I guess we better hit our first break here and let you know about some other great podcasts here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. When we come back, it's all things WrestleMania leading up to WrestleMania 10. We'll be right back.
Drama City Productions.com.
Interruption in progress. Now hijacking into ANS 2.0 immersion rig. Now simulating the amazing nerd show. Featuring comics,
Batman's like, you're safe here and everything, but the Joker all of a sudden pulls out a gun and shoots himself.
Movies.
People fight with lightsabers. What the hell do you want? I mean, in every one of these movies, there's a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna rewatch it a million times.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give me something more.
Wrestling.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, just a monster. Fans would be like, holy, what the hell's going on? What happened to Jericho?
Horror.
It starts off like any other like home invasion type of story, and then it just goes crazy.
And more.
Hey, this is Christian.
Hey, this is Damon.
And we are the Amazing Nerd Show.
Make sure to download us on all your favorite podcast platforms.
All right, we are back from our first break, and that means you want to take a stroll down memory lane here, Greg?
Yeah. You know, it's my favorite. I'm all about retro.
Oh, yeah. Well, you said WrestleMania 6 was the first you ever watched live, right?
Right.
Well, let's take a real quick trip down memory lane, just telling you what all led up to WrestleMania 10 right here. Because at WrestleMania 6, that was very historic for a few reasons. The first WrestleMania to be held outside of the United States.
Speaking of Canada.
Right. Took place April Fool's Day, 1990 at the Sky Dome in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Which I'm visiting this summer.
Oh, yeah, for Mania, right? Or not Mania, SummerSlam, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go to a Blue Jays game.
No. Because everybody wants to go to a Blue Jays game.
Hey, I want to go in that stadium, all right? And SummerSlam ain't in there, so I have to go in there.
I know. You have this thing about visiting ballparks, so
yeah.
I get it. But that took place in the Sky Dome, brother. 67,678. Aside from its record-breaking attendance, the event is arguably best remembered for the Ultimate Challenge in the main event. Hulk Hogan was the WWF champion. Ultimate Warrior was the Intercontinental champion. Both of them clashed. Both titles were on the line, regardless of what certain other people who are now on the WWE creative team said on podcasts in the past. Because the Ultimate Challenge was laid out after by Hulk Hogan and Jack Tunney, the kayfabe president of WWF at the time, made it official, said both belts would be on the line, and that was the Ultimate Challenge. And the event was closed out by Ultimate Warrior becoming the WWF champion and having to vacate the Intercontinental title. So that was Warrior's first belt, won in the Great White North. Also at the event...
We don't call it belt, by the way. I mean, just...
No, well, excuse the hell out of me. They even called it a... Val Venus referred to it as a belt at WrestleMania 15, by the way. He said, not even that belt can keep up the Big Val Boski's pants.
Yeah, he probably got away with it because he used it in the context of an actual belt. I don't know.
Well, at the time, I don't think that was a thing. By the way, WrestleMania 15, first one that Michael Cole was the full color or the full play-by-play guy on. So, historic, man.
I want to hit you right now.
You know what else happened at WrestleMania 6, Greg?
What?
Brutus the effin' Barber was the first person to pin Mr. Perfect in a televised match, thus ending Perfect's lengthy undefeated streak on TV.
Okay, well, if you're going to have anyone beat you, why not be Bruce Beefcake?
Well, can't argue with that logic, Greg. Gosh.
Hey, this is the guy that headlined Starrcade, okay? He's a big name.
Oh, my gosh. Let's just moving on. WrestleMania 7. Refresh my memory.
I didn't say that with a straight face, by the way, just so you know.
I hope to God not. Was WrestleMania 7 any better than 6?
Yes, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, from what you said, 6 kind of blew.
Kind of? Yeah, it blew.
WrestleMania 7, man, it took place March... This one actually took place in March 24th, 1991. It was originally scheduled to be held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, but the WWF decided to move the event to the adjacent Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena. The WWF's stated reason for the venue change was that it had security concerns in the wake of Sergeant Slaughter's portrayal of an Iraqi sympathizer during the Gulf War. This was dismissed by outlets such as Slam Sports Canada, who chalked up the venue change to poor attendance, poor advanced ticket sales. And the company
imagine if they went with Chic Tugboat, man. They would have sold that baby out in like
damn right.
3 minutes.
Well, the company, they said the company had trouble filling the estimated 100,000 seats available.
Sorry.
Well, Chic Tugboat could have, I mean, especially if they would have brought him out as Chic Shockmaster. Like, can you imagine that?
God.
They would have turned people away.
Standing room only signs go out early.
Yep. Well, according to former WWF executive Bruce Pritchard, who is now on the creative team yet again, both were accurate statements. In his podcast, we're not going to say the name of it because it's not important, Pritchard said that even if the WWF had sold out the Coliseum, security was still an issue because apparently they had to have extra security at the Super Bowl that year, but because it was such a big thing, the government actually footed the bill, but he said they would not foot the bill for WrestleMania, and when they gave Vince the bill, he said, yeah, F you.
Why? He's got all that money, could have afforded it.
Apparently, it was just like an astronomical amount of money that they were asking for extra security, so, yeah.
But they gave security to the Giants and the Bills.
Well, yeah. Wasn't LT on the team at the time?
I think he was, actually, yeah.
So there you go. LT and the Bills. Enough said.
Huge Super Bowl.
You know the difference between the Bills and Cheerios, Greg?
What?
Cheerios belong in a bowl.
Wow. What the hell?
I just pissed off all of our northern New York fans.
At Pod Rest Society on Twitter.
Yeah, see, I prefer like take a picture of a handwritten letter and tweet it to me, and it has to be written in purple crayon with backwards R's. I respond to those.
I want to point out to everyone, by the way, he can take pot shots, and when he's a Browns fan, he suffers enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So, hey, at least my fans don't elbow drop flying tables for fun in the pregame in the parking lot. All right.
Hey, for mine, that's like a regular night.
Hashtag Bill's Army. Anyway, significant events on the undercard included The Undertaker's WrestleMania debut and the beginning of his renown winning streak, a retirement match between Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior.
Match of the night.
Yeah, one of Warrior's best, definitely, and it also led to Macho Man reuniting with Miss Elizabeth, who came out of the crowd to stop Sherry from going off on him. And there was a televised match of the original Hart Foundation, the final televised match of the original Hart Foundation, after which Bret Hart became primarily a singles wrestler. The main event, I think you all know kind of the build-up to that, so I'm not going to run through it. However, Hogan did win to become the WWF champion yet again. He beat that evil Sergeant Slaughter, who lit a Hulk Hogan Hulkamania t-shirt on fire. How dare him!
Well, apparently his reasoning for that was it would get him more heat than the flag. And
it kind of did.
Yep.
Which was really weird, but it happened.
This is real.
WrestleMania 8, just real quick, running through this. This event was okay. Took place April 5th, 1992 at the Hoosier Dome, Indianapolis, Indiana. The event included two main events, which was why the tagline, there were two taglines. It was the Macho Flair Affair and Friends Torn Apart. The first match we saw was of the double main event was the title being on the line as Ric Flair defended against Randy Savage. The end of the match was Savage actually used a handful of tights to win against Flair in 18 minutes, 2 seconds. Flair tried to A blood-covered Ric Flair tried to give Miss Elizabeth a kiss. She slapped him. Savage went crazy and chased him away. And come to find out later, because wasn't the whole thing Ric Flair was saying that he was with Elizabeth before Randy?
Yep.
And he had pictures of proof. We'll come to find out later on those pictures were, well, they weren't photoshopped. They were, back then it was side texting. So they were side texted. And Flair put his face over Macho Man's face in all these old photos. Dastardly Ric Flair. The main event got a screwed finish. Papa Shango was supposed to run in and break up a pinfall after Hogan leg dropped Sid Justice, but he missed his cue, so Sid just kicked out. And then it ended better, in my opinion, Greg, because Harvey Whippleman caused the DQ at 12.5 minutes.
The former women's champion, Harvey Whippleman.
Not at this time, but you're correct.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, it's worth noting.
Well, yeah, he went on to have an amazing career. He was Harvina.
Shut up. You should be slapped for reminding us all that.
Well, I've been slapped for less. The match only lasted 12.5 minutes, which is, I think, plenty of time for Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice. Then at the end of the match, the Ultimate Warrior came down to save Hulk Hogan from an attack, and the crowd just blows all over each other. Notable matches on the undercard. Notable matches on the undercard was an Intercontinental title match, Roddy Piper against Bret Hart. Bret Hart just bled buckets. And the tag team titles were on the line as Money Inc. defended against the Natural Disasters. Hey, there's Tugboat! Now our final stop before Mania 10. God dang, it happened. It was WrestleMania 9. It was Caesar's Palace in Paradise, Nevada, April 4th, 1994. It was the first WrestleMania to be held outdoors. This event sucked. Everyone was in a toga because the theme was Caesar's Palace. It was built around two storylines. The first was the seemingly unstoppable Yokozuna challenging Bret Hart for the WWF Heavyweight title in the main event. The right that Yoko won in the 1993 Royal Rumble. The other main storyline was the return of Hulk Hogan, who had departed from the WWF following WrestleMania 8, but returned to team with Brutus Beefcake. Brutus the effin' Barber Beefcake, who also returned from facial reconstruction surgery. They took on Money Inc. for the WWF tag titles and they didn't win the belts. So
we don't say belts.
I do. Vince isn't in charge of this. Screw him. Man, if there is a WrestleMania for Hogan to return at, man, this was the one. My God. The main event, Bret did not win. He lost to Yokozuna for the title. And then for some reason, Hogan came out and Yokozuna, through Mr. Fuji, challenged Hulk Hogan. He defended the title. And it was a 22-second match where it was big boot, leg drop, drive home safely. There you go. Yay. I know you liked it because you were a Hogan fan, but god dang. In addition, Shawn Michaels retained the IC title, even though he lost to Tonka. And we talked about this, that was by default match of the night. And several reviewers had been critical of the event. The most frequent criticism was related to the match of The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. We did a watch-along for that, now in the archives on YouTube. Hulk Hogan's title win, and the Roman togas worn by the announcers. It wasn't the first time that critics would be, reviewers would be critical about something involving Roman in the WWE. But
I get it.
Ha! I made it funny. Both the pay-per-view's buy rate and the attendance for the event dropped from the previous year's WrestleMania. I wonder why. Couldn't be. This would not be the first time that Undertaker would be saddled with an immobile giant, by the way.
Oh.
What?
Nothing. Just, tell me how hell is.
Well, it's true. Well, now we're here.
I'm not saying anything. Don't ask my opinion, please.
We're here, WrestleMania 10. This one was actually a good one. March 20th. Another one in March. Wow. 1994. From Madison Square Garden in New York City, New York. The attendance, 18,065. Well, you guys know the storyline surrounding the event. If you don't, it was pretty good build-up here. WWF title was on the line against two different people. Yeah, two different people, two different matches, because in the 1994 Royal Rumble, they had two winners, which means they had 30 losers, Greg. Lex Luger and...
Wow, just...
Well, they did. You think about it.
I know, it's just messed up, but you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah. Lex Luger and Bret Hart simultaneously eliminated each other. After a disagreement between two referees, Jack Tunney, the WWF's kayfabe president, declared Luger and Hart co-winners. Tunney announced that both wrestlers would get a WWF World's Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania, the prize given to the winner of the Royal Rumble match, and both wrestlers would have to wrestle two matches for the pay-per-view, which means that Bret would wrestle twice, and Yoko would wrestle twice because fresh Luger, fresh Yoko, you get the point. Tunney announced that a coin toss would be used to decide who faced Yokozuna first for the title. If Luger won, he would face Yoko first, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, he won, so yay. Luger would have had to wrestle Crush earlier in the night, by the way, if he'd have lost. Man, we missed out on a classic.
We're talking about Crush is in a classic. You're getting to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway.
Jump ahead, though.
Bret was booked to face his brother Owen, whose storyline began back at Survivor Series 1993. We're not going to get into all of that. There's way too many twists and turns. Luger's feud with Yoko began on July 4th, 1993, in the Yokozuna Body Slam Challenge. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-hmm.
That was something. In June, Mr. Fuji, who was Yokozuna's manager, challenged all American athletes to attempt to body slam Yokozuna on the deck of the USS Intrepid. After several athletes failed, Luger arrived via helicopter by surprise.
Why the hell would he fly in a helicopter?
Why wouldn't he? Like, he's freaking Lex Luger, man. The only thing that would have made it funnier is if he would have drove up onto the deck on a bus. That's coming later, though. But yeah, he body slammed the evil Yokozuna, that evil foreigner. And then Luger beat Yokozuna.
The Japanese guy who's actually Samoan, yes.
Well, yeah. So he's double foreign, Greg. Screw him. He's big and beefy. Luger then beat Yokozuna via countout in a WWF Championship match at SummerSlam 1993, not winning the title. Yet, what happened, Greg? He doesn't win the title, so clearly we gotta have confetti going off, and he waves the flag and all that.
Well, you always do that when you get a win by countout. Come on, dude.
Well, yeah, of course. Why not? Is what I say. This was stupid. And Jim Cornette talked about this because he was the what did they call him? The American representative or whatever.
Spokesperson.
Yeah, American spokesperson of Yokozuna. I guess in the lead up press conference to all this, they were like, "Well, what if Luger doesn't win?" He's like, "Then he'll fall flatter than a plate full of piss." whatever that means. I mean, I've never personally seen a plate of piss, and I don't know why there would be one, but I assume it's flat.
This is getting weird.
Well, it's flatter than the Earth is, okay, Greg?
Oh, shut up.
Oh, man, sorry. I don't know if I made a lot of people laugh right now or just made them really angry, and I'm going to get a bunch of...
You're going to offend somebody. Hey, I'm sorry, there's round, okay?
Yeah. No, I'm gonna get a bunch of hate tweets from flat earthers, all right?
Any press is good press, right?
Yeah. Well, clearly the Earth is flat because Alex Jones told me so.
Well, actually...
Oh, my God. While they're wearing burgundy-colored sweatpants.
Holy crap!
For those of you who don't get the joke, apparently there's a frequent visitor of... Is it APW? Or
it goes to both, but APW.
APW, and what's the other one?
BTW.
BTW. Okay, he goes to basically Northern California indie shows, and according to Greg, he always wears burgundy sweatpants, and if not, he wears a burgundy wristband. Because he has to get it in. Get it in there.
I pointed out, but yeah, it was hilarious, dude, when we saw that.
That's just fan-freaking-tastic. Well, now to the actual event. Commentary is done by Vince McMahon and Jerry the King Lawler. Little Richard opens up with his rendition of America the Beautiful. We start off right away with a recap package of the events leading up to Owen versus Bret. Good stuff, man. Go back. This whole event is, well, I don't want to say this whole event. About 85 to 90% of this event is amazing, so go back and watch it. But let's get to it. The Rocket Owen Hart versus Bret the Hitman Hart. This match is absolutely phenomenal, and certainly a consideration for match of the night, or match of the year even. It may be the greatest opening match of all time, tied perhaps with Kurt Angle versus Rey Mysterio from SummerSlam 02. Agreed?
No.
What am I missing? Or are you just being an ass?
Nothing. Moving on.
He's being an ass. All right, moving on.
Well, I was going to say the Blue Brother versus the Allied Powers.
Shut up. We're moving on. Now in the archives, by the way, WrestleMania 11. I guess you could go check it out, but you know, it's more.
We did that because we hate you all.
It's more fun to listen than it is to watch. I'll say that. So go check it out right after this, actually, because you know it's nice to get you ready for Mania 15. See how far we've come in 4 years. The ending saw Bret getting whipped into the corner, and Owen charges into Bret's boot. Bret goes for a victory roll, easy for me to say, but Owen sits back on it and sticks Bret with a 3 count at 20 minutes, 20 seconds. These guys did not know how to have a match shorter than 20 minutes. This went on for a while, but anyway. Todd Pettengill gets a word with a victorious Owen Hart, who has spit globbed all over his face. And Owen basically said that it's his time now, and he's stepping out of Bret's shadow. Up next, Hair Club for Men president Cy Sperling introduces his latest creation, Howard Finkel with hair. I don't know where to go from this. It leads into something not on this night, but later on, and no, the payoff is not good. Up next, mixed tag team match of the night, man. Because where do you go from after Bret versus Owen, man? Well, you bring out the damn clowns. It's Bam Bam Bigelow and Luna Vachon versus Doink and Dink, the clowns. Man, if only Glacier was there.
Yes. Oh, I wish.
I know, man, but how many times are you going to see them together? Oh, man.
Shut up.
What?
We don't talk about that.
Now on YouTube, in the archives, look up Ant Lover on our page. It's worth a listen, I'll say that. Maybe you'll run into him at Mania 35. Or, well, not at, but before, because he's flying out Sunday. He's not going to stick around for that crap.
I don't know, but I think Ramon will love it, though.
No, I know he will. He'll probably strike up a conversation.
Full disclosure, Ramon really liked this guy.
Ramon will strike up a conversation and be like, "Hey man, so did Matt Taven put the real ROH World title above his mantle, or like where did he have it in his house?"
Wow.
What?
Nothing.
When you looked in through his living room window, was he crying after Jay Lethal took an axe to it? Like, what happened?
Well,
oh, man.
Actually, what happened? No.
Oh, my God. But I love this. Mixed tag team match for WWF means man and woman versus man and man midget. Okay. This was what it was. It was a comedy match and not all that impressive. The ending saw a missed whoopee cushion from Doink.
Real name.
And Bam Bam Bigelow follows up with a series of clotheslines. Dink gets knocked off the apron. Poor little buddy. As Bam Bam hits the ropes. And Doink goes for a suplex. But Bigelow shifts his weight and comes down on top of him for a 2 count. That leads to a headbutt from Bigelow, sending him to the top rope with a diving headbutt to finish things at 6 minutes, 7 seconds, which was 6 minutes, 7 seconds too long, in my opinion.
What?
You heard me.
Like the match?
This sucked. But hey, Bam Bam goes from this to being in the main event the next year, man, so he's looking up.
Can't believe you didn't like this match. I'm shocked.
He's in a match with a competent worker, Doink, and then hit a woman as his tag partner and a little person on the other side. Like some stupid thrown together comedy match to working with a football player the next year. Who did he piss off?
The powers that be.
From what I heard, they actually put Bam Bam in that main event because they really trusted him against Lawrence Taylor. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know how to reply to that.
He's the only one that won't beat the hell out of him.
Yeah. Just don't go out there and shoot on him. But here we go, Greg. Another damn Bill Clinton impersonator sitting at ringside in the president's box.
Why not?
With Jack Tunney.
Wait. I thought that was really him.
Oh, yeah, totally. He was the president. That's what they called him. They couldn't call him Bill Clinton because they could probably get sued. This was actually a prelude to... What in your house was it that he was at? Was it...
Who?
Mr. President.
I think he was at Survivor Series because they were in Washington, D.C.
Oh, you're right. Survivor Series. Okay. So they were like, we liked him so much at Mania... What was this, 93? 94? It was 94, right?
I think so.
Yeah, 94. They called him back over a year and a half later for stupid comedy BS at SummerSlam. Woohoo! Anyway, Falls Count Anywhere match. Here you go. Macho Man Randy Savage. Man, his back must have hurt after this one. Versus Crush with Mr. Fuji. Not to speak ill of the dead. I was actually a Crush fan as a kid. Notice I emphasized as a kid.
He wasn't that bad.
Nah, he wasn't terrible. And we share a last name, so, whatever. I thought it was funny when he was Bryan Adams in WCW. He called his finisher Cuts Like a Knife. I got a chuckle out of that one.
Some people don't get it, but it's okay.
Yeah. Throw it in your Google machine. This was not a typical Falls Count Anywhere, by the way. It was kind of a hybrid between Falls Count Anywhere and a Texas Death Match. The rules were Falls Count Anywhere, but all falls are intended purposes for a 10 count, and then you have to make it back into the ring before the 10 count. It's weird. So falls don't really count, but they kind of do. I don't know. Look up Texas Death Match, figure it out. It's the same as a Mexican death match. Once a fall occurs, the loser of the fall then has, 60 seconds to return to the ring or be declared the loser. The ending sees the men head into the backstage area where Savage gets a fall at the 8 minutes and 11 second mark. Savage then finds a cable laying around, which allows him to tie up Crush's feet, hang him upside down. That prevents Crush from beating the count. And then Savage is officially declared the winner at 9 minutes, 44 seconds. This was essentially Randy Savage's swan song in the WWF. We would never see him in another televised match on WWE television. Kind of sad when you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Especially when this was his last match. But, it's weird. We get Savage in this at Mania 10. Again, no Hogan. Just odd to think.
Well, he was off doing Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah. He was off of it. Had he debuted in WCW yet?
No, he would in July.
All right. Well, he was going to make the jump down south, brother. Todd Pettengill gets an interview with what?
Said, yeah, the mullet.
Yeah. Did he have this I think he was growing it out at this point, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably. But, when I think of him, I think of that mullet, whether he had it or not.
Well, yeah, at the beginning of 95, man, it was in full effect. High and tight. I don't think I've seen so much party in the back in my whole life. But regardless...
Hell of business up front, too, with the spiked hair.
Well, damn right. How else are you going to do it? Look, if you're going to do it, you go all in. You go full business in the front, hardcore party in the back, man.
Hardcore mom's gone for the weekend party in the back.
Yeah, it's Snoop Dogg on the boombox, bowl full of weed kind of party in the back.
Wow.
Beer full, I almost said a beer full of fridge. A fridge full of beer.
That's what you'll be saying after you drink all the beer.
Yeah, exactly. My gosh.
I swear to drunk, I'm not God.
Every time I hear that, I laugh. Anyway, Mr. Pettengill gets an interview with the president, Bill Clinton, and IRS.
Oh, the president.
Yeah.
Just the president. You don't say that, though.
Well, yeah, of course. I might get sued. IRS actually thanks Mr. President for raising the taxes in this country and keeping those tax cheats in line.
Pay your fair share.
Yeah. After this and Survivor Series 95, I really wonder what political affiliation Vince McMahon is.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to just say.
Just makes you scratch your chin.
Easy to say it's Republican, but this makes you think.
Yeah. There's a recap of the events going on at the first ever WWF Fan Fest, which is basically a precursor to what is now Access. Did you know, you went to Survivor Series, so did you see that? I believe there was a Survivor Series Access this year, right?
No, there's a Royal Rumble one, though.
Oh, okay, that's the one I was thinking of. Did you go to that?
Kind of. Went to the store inside and looked inside, but
the
lines were so long, I was like, I'm not standing in these lines. I got to peek in all the lines, and if there's any short ones, I'll go in and try to get an autograph, but it's hell no.
I think you and I went to WrestleMania Access at the right times because the lines were heavy at times, but, I mean, it didn't take us 2 hours to get through them.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about for buying merch. I'm not talking about autograph lines. Those were long. Well, except for...
We got to meet the Revival. That was nice. That was cool.
Yeah, I know. That was actually one of the most memorable parts of my trip. One, because I'm a huge fan of them. And two, because they gave me crap for wearing a Bullet Club shirt, and I popped the line by throwing up the Too Sweet.
This damn little merc.
Hey, Everybody laughed. I think the Revival got a kick out of it. So there you go. Hey, I still consider them the obviously from discussions we've had, I'm a Bucks fan, but come on. Revival are the best tag team in the world, period.
I don't know. Something we said for the Usos, but
yeah, they're great. New Day's fantastic, but the Revival, man. Don't even at me, people.
Hashtag FT.
Yeah, FTR. Dude, how did they get away with that?
Because Vince doesn't know what it means. I don't know.
I guess they were just like, look, Vince is just like, he's got his head up his ass. Like, let's put this on our trunks. He'll never know. What does that stand for, pal? Feel the Revival?
For the win.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't come up with anything. But either way. Next up, man. Oh, yeah. It's Lalani Kai versus Alundra Blaze for the WWF Women's title. It was a nostalgia thing for Kai, obviously, because she was at the very first in the women's title match. So that's all I can say about it. Lalani Kai was returning to the WWF, as I said, challenged for the title after defending the thing in the next to main event match at Mania 1, now in the archives. The end sees Blaze ducking a clothesline and hitting one of her own. Off the ropes, Kai runs into a spinning heel kick, and then a suplex gets two, a pair of snapmares gets two for Blaze, and then she hits a bridging German suplex to finish the match at 3 minutes, 26 seconds. So there you go. Now we go back to Mr. Todd Pittengill, man. He talks with Rhonda Shear from USA Up All Night. Shawn Michaels interrupts Pettengill, and then Burt Reynolds C-blocks him, I'll say.
Yeah.
That's not my name. Mr. Turd Ferguson. Yeah, that's my name. Turd Ferguson. Sorry. Every time I think of Burt Reynolds, all I can think of is freaking Norm Macdonald on Saturday Night Live. Which is sad.
Oh, man. He's still a thing.
Who's still a thing?
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, Burt Reynolds is not a thing. I feel bad. He's, like, so memorable for many things. Yet the first thing that pops in my head about him, besides The Longest Yard and Deliverance, is that. Turd Ferguson. Anyway. Dude, if you thought that one was great, man, we get the best title match of the night. It's the Men on a Mission with Oscar versus the reigning, defending tag team champions, the All-American Boys. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was different. The Quebecers with Johnny Polo. I'm thinking of the Fabulous Rougeaus. They all kind of blend together. But here you've got the Mountie and the Pirate. The Quebecers. I found out, by the way, why the Quebecers were a thing. Besides the fact that, they're from Quebec. Clearly they got to be together. Bruce Pritchard said they were put together because they could not do the Mountie gimmick in Canada. So this allowed them to get around that.
If you go back and listen, the song goes, "We're not the Mounties."
What the hell?
Seriously, that's what it says. We're not the Mounties.
That's right up there with amazing lyrics such as, he does this, he does that, for Sting.
Wow. I forgot about that.
He's as strong as a bull and as quick as a cat.
He does this and that. Oh, Jimmy Hart's not exactly a genius, but
he came up with some good music, but that's it. Like, just the music. The lyrics, nah.
It's a no for me, dog.
So it's King Mabel and Mo with Oscar versus the Mountie and the Pirate with Raven in their corner. Cool.
Ah, when you put it like that, man.
This was gold, man. 1994 at its best. And this was back when people actually somewhat cared about Mabel. Not when he became a heel and nobody gave a damn. Now in the archives, 1995. Go listen. Fun little match, but not sure that it should have been for the belts. The ending sees Mo tag in and Bulldog Mabel on top of Jacques. Johnny Polo gets the referee distracted, and so he can't make the count. So Pierre goes to make the save, and Mo sees him coming and moves, allowing Jacques to elbow drop Pierre. Clothesline sends Pierre to the floor, and Mo splashes Mabel again on top of Pierre, this time on the floor. Quebecers take the count out at 7 minutes, 43 seconds, allowing them to retain the titles. Afterwards, Men on a Mission celebrate with the belts, despite not being champions. Why is that a thing in this era of WWF?
Well, you win. You get to pose with something. Men on a Mission must pose.
What the hell? Mabel must pose, damn it! Look at those humongous chesticles.
No.
I see him in suspenders.
Good grief.
That comes much later, by the way, for those of you, as Big Daddy V. That was gold, man. Speaking of gold, that was one fat guy is followed up by another. It's the first... I'm going to hell. It's the first...
I'm not saying anything.
It's the first defense of the WWF title for the night. It's Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette versus Lex Luger. This is defense number 1 of the night for Yoko. Donnie Wahlberg of New Kids on the Block, which some of you kids today may remember from what's that show he does? Blue Bloods? I think that's it. Blue Bloods with Tom should have been Indiana Jones Selleck.
A.K.A. the mustache.
Hell yeah. For those of you that don't get the joke, he was supposed to be Indiana Jones and pulled out because he was in Magnum P.I.
Who wants a mustache ride?
Oh my God. You moving on. But he was the guest ring announcer. Rhonda Shear is the host of USA Network's Up All Night, and she is the guest timekeeper. I don't know what the hell Rhonda Shear is or what the hell an Up All Night is.
She was, well, I'm not going to get into who she is. You guys have to Google that. But Up All Night was like a late night movie thing, and she would do like a little skit before and after commercials where she like flaunts her big chest, all that stuff.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
well,
that was the whole thing. Okay, they were just selling the movie with sex. That's all it was.
She is described on Wikipedia as a television personality, comedian, actress, and entrepreneur. Okay, then. In 2001, she started up an intimate apparel business. Okie doke. That was marketed...
anyone want to guess what that is?
It was marketed on the Home Shopping Network with one of her most famous products being the Bra in 2010.
The what?
Bra.
The hell is that?
Don't know.
You know what? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
She is a regular participant in Tampa Bay's annual Fashion Week events. So there you go. Hey, she was Miss Louisiana in 1975, and, well, I'm not going to get into that one. Never mind. Moving on. We've been to Louisiana. You know what they call a good-looking woman in Louisiana, Greg?
What?
A tourist. I'm just kidding. God, calm down, people. Don't even at me. Or do. Whatever. I don't care.
Too late. Oh, man. You're getting a letter.
With backwards R's. Actually,
that's communique.
God. Mr. Perfect is the surprise guest referee. The ending sees Luger hit the bionic forearm, which brings the managers onto the apron. Luger slingshots Cornette in. Man, can you imagine him hitting... Never mind. And he knocks out Fuji. It's really weird when you've got Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji as your managers, and Jim is known as the bumpin' manager. Think about how weird that sounds.
Like blasting the radio bumping, or?
No. He goes for
Hey, rap music, mother effer, that ain't music.
What the hell?
Mother effer.
Luger goes for the cover, but Perfect doesn't count. Instead, going to send the managers out of the ring, Luger gets in his face and points in Perfect's chest. That's enough for Perfect to call for the disqualification, effectively turning him heel at 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Nothing too exciting, and the crowd was not happy with the ending. So there you go. Todd Pettengill goes for looks for an explanation from Mr. Perfect. What?
The mullet. Sorry, just the mullet. I gotta mention it.
My
I
God.
can't not mention it. Sorry.
Yeah, I know that's your thing. If you could have a zoo of white people in mullets, you would. Now look at that one. My God.
He's not wrong.
I could hear the party in the back from over here.
I kind of want to grow one now.
Oh my gosh. I could see you. Never mind. Going to get your scratch off. Going to get your scratch offs and your tall boys. With your cigarettes rolled up in your shirt
the
sleeve.
pack of cigarette, there it is.
Well, Mr. Perfect says that Luger assaulted him. Luger interrupts and they have a confrontation. So there you go. For all of you, this was not paid off at all. So, yeah. What happened to Perfect after this? Do you remember?
Let's see. After 10, don't know.
Didn't
I know he would commentate for a while in 1996, but
he was a commentator for Survivor. He was a commentator for Survivor Series '95. So I think he stepped out of the ring because he claimed he had an injury, and his insurance made it so he couldn't get back in the ring while he was, nursing said injury.
Yeah, the Perfect injury.
My God. Up next, here we go, man. It's Adam Bomb with Harvey Whippleman.
Already a hell yes.
Taking on the Earthquake, a.k.a. the Shark. Now in the archives, 1995. Go check it out.
A.k.a.
A.k.a. a lot of things. He was the Avalanche. Golga. Harvey Whippleman gets into it with the Fink before the match even starts, so Fink shoves him on his ass. Man, when you get punked out by Howard Finkel, just pack it up, go home, man. Adam Bomb gets in Fink's face, so Earthquake runs in and makes the save. Apparently Earthquake was a babyface at this time.
He was, yeah.
Belly-to-belly suplex is followed by a power slam from Quake. Earthquake splash finishes from there at 34 seconds. This was just a vehicle to get the epic Finkel-Whippleman feud started. Because God knows that's going to set the business on fire.
Money.
Business turned around huge after this.
That should have been the main event. WrestleMania 11 would have saved that crap.
Well, you're damn freaking right. Todd Pettengill gets some words with Jim Cornette in the locker room for Yokozuna and Misa Fuji. Wait, was that racist?
I ain't touching that.
That's the name. That's the way he said his name. I don't know. Look. I love the this sounds like an apology I have to issue afterwards. I love the Japanese people. I swear to God.
I hate Godzilla. I hate him too. He destroys cities.
What the hell?
It was on The Hangover.
Oh, good Lord. Let's see. Up
cool.
next.
I'm going to get hate too. There you go.
Yep. Well, hey, anytime you reference The Hangover, man, people forgive you instantly.
It's true.
WWF, now this, up next, man. This really is. These last two matches were a fantastic way to close out the night. Obviously, one is better than the other, but we'll get to that in a minute. The Intercontinental title is on the line, man, in the infamous ladder match. A lot of people think this was the first ever in WWF. I don't believe so. I think Bret and Shawn came first. Bret Hart was actually the one who brought the ladder match to WWF. He suggested it, and he said it was something that used to do back up in Stampede, up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Dramatic pause. You forgot that.
Exactly. But I felt I gave it enough time. Either way, he.
No, you didn't. But whatever.
Yeah, I've got to give it at least 5 minutes, and then say it. But regardless, Bret Hart gave them the suggestion and said, "Don't use it without me." So naturally, they used it without him. But it's fine. You can find, I don't know what event that was at, but you can find, or at least I could in years past, that match between Shawn and Bret, ladder match, on the internets. Throw it in your Google machine. It was Shawn Michaels with Diesel, a.k.a. Vinny Vegas, taking on Razor Ramon. I would say this has got to be match of the night and one of the greatest ladder matches of all damn time. Agreed?
Yep.
And yes, you could say, sure, it was the first, but
what I love is like they couldn't use it as a weapon.
No, actually, that was the SummerSlam rematch. They actually
they didn't really use it as a weapon here either.
Yeah, I think they drop kicked it a couple times. I can't remember exactly what all happened.
I guess the thing is you couldn't pick it up and like hit him with it, something like that.
Well, I guess.
And then they did on the pole when he got fined or something like that.
Huh.
I don't know, some crap like that.
Well, I know if you listen back to, it's not worth mentioning the name of it, but Bruce Pritchard's podcast, they did a review of SummerSlam 1995, now in our archives. Go check it out. And they talked about, literally, I think it was the day of the event at SummerSlam. Vince told them, "Can't use it as a weapon, pal. No household items as weapons." So Triple H helped them rewrite the whole match and plan it out that day. So, hurrah! But anyway, getting into the actual match here. The storyline leading up to this was unique. Shawn was stripped of the U.S. IC title back in October after failing a drug test, but came back from suspension with the belt. I guess the story behind that was he was legit suspended for failing that drug test and stripped of the title. And when they called him and said, "Look, you failed the test, you need to send the belt back," and he said, "If you want it so damn bad, you come down to Texas and take it from me." And he kept it. And I guess Vince McMahon hung up and he was like, "Can you believe that little bastard?"
And I just think in 2 years he'd be his big star.
Right? Yeah. God dang it, we got a baby face on our hands. Either way, this, after the title was stripped, Razor had won the title, the vacant title. In the meantime, the ladder match concept was created in kayfabe so that the winner would claim both titles. The ending sees Razor hit a shoulder block to the ladder with Shawn on top of it, which causes Shawn to fall off and get his foot tied up in the ropes. Diesel tries to help him, but to no avail. Razor sets up the ladder, climbs to the top, claims the belt at 18 minutes, 49 seconds. So there you go. And this
one of the highlights was that big splash. You ever notice they still use that to this day?
Yep. It was so basic, but it was so fantastic.
I know. I was like, at the time, it was like amazing, but now it's like, okay.
It still looks fantastic though, because just because the way he did it. It was.
Yeah. Also, you got to praise the cameraman too for being right there. It's like the most perfect spot.
Oh hell yeah! And obviously the agents told him where to stand and all that good stuff. Is good work all the way around, top to bottom. Very enjoyable match. If you have never seen this match, either you're a brand new wrestling fan or something is seriously wrong with you and you need to be ashamed of yourself right now. But look. Am I wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong. Just wow.
It's just that I said it. I know.
It's no, just like clearly you hold this match in high regard. So.
I don't know of one single person who does not. This is right up there with...
It was all right. 2 stars.
Oh, yeah. It's probably match of the year in all of wrestling. I mean, there were some really good ones in '94. Some really bad ones, too. But, I mean, it was in a contender.
Wait, what did we say earlier?
Yeah, I think this was in a contention for match of the year with Hogan versus the Butcher for the WCW title at Starrcade.
There it is. Yeah, that was definitely the other one.
Got it in there.
Oh my God!
What?
Actually, I think match of the year, if I remember right, ended up being Bret and Owen in the cage. I think.
Oh yeah, which is another one that went heavy on time because, ladies and gentlemen, this one went heavy on time, and because of that,
well, to be fair. You know, real quick, when Bret and Owen went over on time, they made the Undertaker match shorter. So that was messed up.
Yeah, we could have gotten more of that epicness.
It was supposed to be 30 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, which who doesn't want that?
You see?
Well, maybe it would have went 20 minutes and then 10 minutes afterwards because Taker must pose. Damn it. For those of you, that is also in the archives. We did a watch-along. Go back on YouTube.
God, we've done some crap.
What do you mean, crap? That was awesome. Go back, check it out. It was, listening to our commentary over it, I believe, made it a hell of a lot better of a watch. So go check it out. YouTube.
I'd be a little biased, but I think so.
Yeah. Search for Podcast Wrestling Society on their YouTube pages. Now this one.
Subscribe. Give me 1,000.
This, because I went heavy on time, this next segment had to happen. The heels in a 10-man tag match couldn't decide on a captain, so the match is canceled. They end up having it on Raw the next night, according to you, and it was a very short match and not memorable.
Yeah. I remember who the teams were. I think I know Jeff Jarrett and 1, 2, 3 Kid were on opposite sides. That was all I remember.
Oh, man. Setting up for the epicness that was their kind of feud. Well, let's just say 1, 2, 3 Kid, he wasn't feuding with him. He was feuding with Razor, who was with the Kid. So, yeah. Anyway. Finally, the main event. We're here, man. WWF Championship. Yokozuna with Jim Cornette and Mr. Fuji versus Bret the Hitman Hart. Burt Reynolds, a.k.a. Turd Ferguson, is the guest ring announcer. Was he Smokey or the Bandit?
Smokey, I believe.
Okay, there you go. He's Smokey. And may or may not...
Had to be, because he only smokes cigars. That's all he does. So.
Yeah. Well, he was the guest ring announcer, and he may or may not have been completely in the bag. Just putting that out there. Jenny Garth of 90210 fame is the timekeeper. God.
Was this before or after she screwed Brenda and Dylan up?
Oh my gosh. I will tell you this. It's funny that you even know that. I know absolutely nothing about
it. It's a meme.
Was that the show with Jason Priestley in it, or was that another one?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I barely know who the hell was even in it.
Well, it was the line on Friends, too. He goes, oh, my God, I think Brendan and Dylan are about to break up. My heart's sinking. Like, what the hell?
Good Lord. Rowdy Roddy Piper serves as a surprise guest referee for this one. Yes, he was wearing pants, thank God. Bret is still selling
Let's take a moment to talk about why TJ looks right at his pants.
Well, because usually he wears the kilt minus the pants. So... there you go.
That's when it becomes a skirt, I gotta say.
Oh my... Kilts are meant to be worn without pants, Greg. I'm Scottish. I know this.
Then why don't you?
Who says I don't? You don't know what I do in my off time.
Well, tweet some pics. Maybe the listeners want to see this.
Nah, they don't need to see my childbearing hips and my Betty Davis knees. throw back the last episode. Go check it out. Bret is still selling his knee injury he suffered in the opening contest against Owen. This was actually really good. Yokozuna puts Bret over to the corner, or pulls him over to the corner, excuse me. Well, he does put him over, but skipping ahead. He sets up for the bonsai drop, but Bret moves and Yoko slips off the second rope. Bret rolls him up, kind of, to pick up the fall, giving him his second world title, 10 minutes, 31 seconds. After the match, the baby faces clear the, they just evacuate the locker room, and they celebrate with Bret in the ring, hoisting him up on their shoulders. Owen then comes out to glare at Brother Bret in anger.
Oh, man.
So there you go, setting up for more epicness between Bret and Owen,
This was I thought it was a great finish too. Like, I mean, not that horrible roll up, but like that. It's like the perfect setup for the summer.
Yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed this event back when I was a kid, and we're going to go in our Wayback Machine. All of you kids listening may not know what I'm talking about here, but back when you could...
Oh my God, you sound like me talking to my crew at work.
Wow. Well, back when, you
kids!
Back when you could rent video cassettes from video rental stores like Blockbuster.
And if you don't know what any of that is, go Google it.
Yeah, it's God, I feel old, Greg. Not even 30.
You?
Yeah. But anyway.
Hey, shut the hell up.
Back when you could do that, I went to the video store. I rented this thing like 3 or 4 times at least and watched it.
I think we all did, actually.
It was fantastic. So even as a kid, I knew this event was great. You don't have to look back with rose-colored glasses at this one. It was one of the best Manias of all time. I think this was the best Mania of all time until 17.
I don't know. I still think 14 is really great too.
14 was good. That was another one I rented multiple times, and that was the first Mania that I was a fan for. But I don't know. I still think 10, was more historic, I guess. I mean, sure, 14's ending was very historic, but still.
14's ending literally killed WCW. I mean, when you really think about it.
It was the beginning of the end, yeah. Well, now's just as good a time as any. That's the cue. We're going to take our last break. We're going to tell you about some other great podcasts here on the Drama City Productions Podcast Network. Like I said, check out DramaCityProductions.com. The brand new website looks awesome. And you can check out all the other podcasts, some that we're going to tell you about here today, some that we don't quite have time for, but they're all great in their own right. Check them out now, DramaCityProductions.com. We'll be right back.
DramaCityProductions.com.
Game ticket, $50. Hot dog, $8. Team store item, $25.
I told him I can beat him with one hand tied behind my back, with some glasses on, with one eye lens out, with some flip-flops on in the ring.
Having to listen to someone's dumb sports opinions? Worthless. Some people shouldn't talk sports. For everyone else, there's the Unspoken Podcast, available on most podcasting platforms, and on the web at theunspodkensportspodcast.weebly.com.
Drama City Productions presents.
Hey, it's Ben here, host of the Regular Stories Podcast, a podcast where I interview interesting people about their lives. These are not celebrities, they're not the elite. These are regular people, and these are their stories. You can follow us on Facebook at Regular Stories and on Instagram at Regular Stories. We are everywhere that you can get a podcast. We are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, just about everywhere else. Look up Regular Stories Podcast.
All right, now we're back, and it's time to get back to it. Aftermath here. As I said, this was the final Macho Man televised match for WWF-E. The event was attended by 18,065 people who paid a total of $960,000 in admission fees. The buy rate for the pay-per-view was 1.68 down from a 2.0 buy rate that the previous WrestleMania had achieved. Man, so you could really see, because 9 was down, 10 was down, 11 was way down. Like, the business was really trending down at this point. It's kind of sad.
Yeah, and it started going down after WrestleMania 8. And who left after WrestleMania 8? So, there you go.
I wonder why. Well, I mean, it went down for many reasons. It went down across the board, but...
I mean, okay, it went down after 8, and that was the beginning of the steroid trial. A lot of people point to that.
Yeah. Well, it was going down for, I mean, not that WCW was doing gangbusters before that, but business went down for WCW as well. And Jim Cornette complains that he's like, when he started up Smoky Mountain, he's like, I started it up at the worst possible time in the history of wrestling to start a company.
Yep.
He's like, just my luck. Like, yeah, well, it happens. The event received positive reviews from various websites and wrestling publications, a.k.a. the Dirt Sheets. In 2010, Rob McNew of 411 Mania, hey, I use that website for this, gave the event an overall...
Cheap plug.
Gave the event an overall score of 9.0 out of 10. And noted that WrestleMania 10, quote, may lack a lot of historical significance due to being during a relatively downtime for business, but this show kicked all kinds of ass. I agree. Sort of. Still historic. He further noted that Bret and Owen and Shawn and Razor were both coin flip choices for not only match of the year, but match of the decade as well. I mean... I'd say top 5.
Okay, first of all, Hogan versus Piper at Starrcade 96 was literally the match of the decade.
Oh my gosh. It was good.
I'm just saying.
But good.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. He concluded the review citing how WrestleMania 10 was easily one of the top 5 WrestleManias ever. Now that I don't think is disputable. I'd say, I don't know, probably 17, 10, 20, I don't know. That's a discussion for another time, but those are my top 3. Much of the praise...
I always throw 22 in my favorites, too. I thought 22 was great.
I gotta go back and look at 22. I honestly forget some of that one. Was that First Money in the Bank?
No, that was the second one.
Okay, and who was Undertaker's opponent for that one? Was it
Mark Henry?
Oh God, you're not making your case very well here with those, man.
Okay, well you picked a couple of matches that sucked. I mean, a lot of them were great though.
Oh, anyway, who won the second Money in the Bank? I forget. Wasn't that
Rob Van Dam?
Okay, that was cool, and it led to a really good moment. Anyway, much of the praise towards the event was aimed at the ladder match between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. McNew of 411 Mania cited the match as downright groundbreaking for the time, and an amazing match to put the ladder match on the map. It was one of the few matches...
the ladder match over! Sorry.
That ladder did, in fact, come out of a box. So, meaning that it was instantly over. It was one of the few matches in North America to receive a 5-star rating from Uncle Dave.
Because we know that means something.
Exactly. It was also voted Match of the Year of 1994 by readers of the Wrestling Observer newsletter publication, a.k.a. a lot of people in their basements. I'm kidding. I kid. Don't at me.
Not me. Not me.
Gonna get flamed. Pro Wrestling Illustrated readers also named the match PWI Match of the Year in 1994. It was placed as number 3 on IGN's top 20 matches in WrestleMania history, and described as one of the most groundbreaking matches in wrestling history. I don't disagree. I mean, when we're going down to the nitty-gritty of ranking matches throughout all of WrestleMania, though, I mean, that's a crowded field.
Yeah, but, you know.
The opening match between Owen Hart and Bret Hart also garnered acclaim. McNew described as the best opening match in professional wrestling history. It was also number 4 on the list of IGN's top 20 matches in wrestling history. Writer John Robinson described it as the best opening match in pay-per-view history. multi-time world champion Chris Jericho stated, "For me, the best match on WrestleMania X was always Bret versus Owen, and it kicked off the show, and it was hard to follow. The story was amazing. It was kind of Owen's coronation. It was a great moment." Wait a minute. You mean the guy from Winnipeg, you idiot? Like, really enjoyed the two Canadians going at it in the opening match? No. Color me surprised. But
he's kind of a mark.
You're kind of a mark.
How dare you?
Anyway, ladies and gents...
Don't be hanging up.
Yeah. Well, that's fine, because ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are at the final bell of the podcast, so to speak. This one has actually been fun, because this was a great event. Lots of really good lead-up and historical moments between 5 and 10. I enjoyed this show today.
I like these shows because it gives me a reason to go back and watch these pay-per-views.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm in the process right now of catching up with WrestleMania 15, which was the first of 3 series between The Rock and Austin. The lost one that doesn't get a whole lot of love, because 17 is considered by many to be their best. 19 was obviously Austin's last. So this one's kind of lost in the shuffle. Plus,
it's funny how this match is great, and yet it's number 3 on their list.
Yeah, I know. I think it's just historical significance in the whole thing.
Something's got to be number 3, but it's really great.
Yeah, I mean, out of the 3, you can't have a bad match between those two, in my opinion. It was really good. The whole card was, I mean, it was what it was. There was a lot of...
Well, you already mentioned the word groundbreaking. Well, sneak preview. Big Boss Man, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
there it is.
God, you reminded me that was on that show. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, what about Sable versus Tori, man? That was...
No,
man,
that was there, too?
That's a barn burner and a half.
That was voted one of the worst matches in history.
Go drink some mouthwash and watch it.
Got to get the taste of crap out of my mouth. Well, I will say this: I've got a little bit of Jack Daniels left up in the cupboard, so I might be sucking that down, trying to finish this damn thing.
You're supposed to do it afterward to cure your ills.
I'm going to do it during and then after. So
TJ sucks back on Grandpa's old cough medicine.
What the hell? Well, I gotta run out for a minute anyway to pick up some dinner, and while I'm out, I might get me a tall boy just to help numb the pain.
A tall boy, a pack of s'mores, and a couple lotto scratchers.
You're damn right. The white
TJ's that shifty guy you see going into the liquor store, the one you tell your kids to wait in the car until he gets out.
Oh my God. It's the white boy starter pack, man. Good Lord. We're getting a letter.
Rocking the mullet.
For all of you, just so you know, Greg and I kind of messed up. I had some notes for a Patreon show that was going to be posted this week. Kind of got mishandled, I'll say. So I'm going to have to fix that, remedy that situation. No Patreon shows this week, but I know it's a slow go getting started here.
Just so you know, everyone, I wanted to do a Naked Midian show for Patreon when he shut me down, but
yeah, well, like I said, it's it would be a really small show, if you know what I mean. But well, I take that back. If there is a Patreon show this week, and there might be, it will be Kyle and I kind of running down what's happening when we go to our quest for Cleveland, all the way to Fastlane. We'll make some predictions for Fastlane, even though it is next weekend. We'll try to post our predictions early. They might be a little outdated, but we'll talk. Look,
here's the prediction and the spoiler. Kofi Kingston is walking out as a WWE champion.
Oh, man, my buddy here is going to love you. I'm still calling DB, but that That's the only free prediction I'm giving you all. All the rest of them from Kyle and I will be on Patreon. And either that will be posted this week, or you might get 2 shows next week if I can get a hold of Kyle for that. And, well, we'll do some other content on there as well, kind of giving you a spoiler for some future Patreon stuff. Greg, you, me, Kyle, we gotta keep up with what's going on in Cleveland and give some good Patreon stuff from there, because it's gonna be a fun time. Very much.
Yeah, it's funny because like this is gonna be epic, but like I'm most looking forward to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah,
like this is the first time ever I'm going to a wrestling event. Like that's secondary to me.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a Football Hall of Fame.
And that's hard to say.
Well, there's Football Hall of Fame. There's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's some cool eateries that we want to hit up. It's going to be a good time. It's
going to be good.
Is this your first time in the state that's round on both ends and high in the middle?
Yes, sir. Well, I flew over it. That don't count, though.
No, it does not. This, well, I'll say this. Pack warm. So you go.
You don't say.
Wait. March in Ohio? Cold? No.
Hey, if you ever come out to California in August, wear shorts,
Yeah, I'll think about it. I might bring my burqa. But anyway, you'll also get to see a body of water, but it will not be the ocean. It will be the Lake of Erie. So, wow. And there's going to be some good stuff. We'll have some good content from Cleveland, like I said, for the Patreon listeners. And it's cheap, guys. $1.50, $2. Get you tons of content.
100 pennies, man. Come on.
Yeah, so...
Just come on. You spend more than that on taxes.
Yeah, right? And for $4.50 for 1 month, you can get all of our content. All of it. Tons of stuff. We have a special Patreon show coming up next week for a certain someone who... Well, we've covered a lot of him in the past, but we're going to do a deeper dive. He's been in both WWF and WCW.
Whoa. Naked Mini was never in WCW.
Well, and he was in the TNA, man. So, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but bro, when we did a Patreon show on this guy, bro, I cried, bro.
Swerve, bro.
Swerve, hey, bro. You gotta pay for it,
bro. You gotta get it from the poll, bro. All right.
You gotta pay, and then you gotta get this Patreon show from the poll, bro.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. This is gonna be an effing shoot, bro.
It is. So clearly, we're gonna do a show on Jim Ross, but that. I kid. But all right. Well, thank you for joining me today, Greg.
Rumor sooner. Yeah, of course.
Next week, we come at you with WrestleMania 15. The weekend. The week after, excuse me. The week after Fastlane, WrestleMania 15. Later.
This has been a Drama City production.